Okay, so everyone's always talking about Cancun, right? The pictures, the stories, it's all beaches and margaritas, yeah?
Total paradise.
Exactly. So when I saw this headline, I was like, wait, what? I mean, we have to talk about this.
Because a shooting at a five-star resort in Cancun, that's not exactly in the travel brochures.
No, not at all. Especially when the gunmen escape on jet skis.
Yeah.
Jet skis. This is some serious action movie stuff. Okay, so for our deep dive today, we're looking at this article, One Killed in Broad Daylight Shooting at Five-Star Cancun Resort by Gunmen Who Fled on Jet Skis. Reports by David Proper.
Published just this week, October 3rd, so it's all very fresh. And it raises some serious questions about safety, tourism, the whole bit.
Absolutely. So let's set the scene here. Wednesday, around noon, this happened at the Rio Caribe Hotel in Cancun. Now, this isn't some, shady motel. We're talking a five-star resort.
Right, the kind of place where you think security would be, well, a top priority.
Exactly. But it gets even wilder. The victim wasn't a tourist, wasn't even a hotel employee. A targeted attack, it seems.
That's the thing that jumps out, right? The article says the victim was a Mexican national in his 30s. This points to something more deliberate, possibly connected to, well, let's just say, other activities.
Organized crime.
It's hard to ignore that angle, especially with the jet ski detail. I mean, that's not random. It speaks to a level of planning, of knowing the area.
And it's not the first time we've seen this kind of thing in the area either, right? Wasn't there another shooting on the beach earlier this summer?
There was. Also, a jet ski getaway, also suspected to be drug-related. So this isn't an isolated incident. It suggests a pattern, a boldness that's, frankly, pretty unnerving.
Unnerving for sure, especially for those tourists who were apparently huddled in the hotel lobby while this was all going down. Can you imagine? You're on vacation, supposed to be relaxing by the pool, and suddenly you're caught in the middle of something straight out of Narcos.
It's a stark reminder that even in paradise, there are underlying currents, things that can disrupt that picture-perfect facade.
So let's talk about those currents for a second. What are we really dealing with here? You mentioned organized crime, but what does that actually mean in this context?
Right, we're talking about Mexico's drug cartels, powerful organizations with deep roots, and unfortunately, a reach that extends far beyond just drug trafficking.
And they operate with a level of impunity that's, well, pretty terrifying.
It's a complex situation. These groups wield significant power, sometimes even more so than local authorities. And their activities. They can impact every aspect of life, including tourism.
So when incidents like this happen, what's the impact on a place like Cancun, a place that relies so heavily on tourism?
It can be devastating, honestly. Beyond the immediate tragedy, there's the fear factor. People start to rethink travel plans, cancellations happen, the economic consequences, they can be massive, impacting everyone from hotel workers to taxi drivers.
And it hurts the reputation of the destination, too. Suddenly, it's not just about the beautiful beaches anymore. It's about the risks, the uncertainty.
It's a tough balance. Tourism is vital for these destinations, but so is safety. And finding that balance when you have these deeply entrenched criminal elements at play, it's a huge challenge.
So what can be done? I mean, how do you even begin to address something like this?
Well, it's not easy. There's a lot of talk about increasing security, cracking down on these organizations, but it's easier said than done.
The article did mention that the U.S. State Department has issued a travel advisory for certain areas in Mexico.
Right, and those advisories are worth paying attention to. They offer guidance on safety, potential risks.
Right.
They even have different levels from exercise, normal precautions to do not travel. Being informed is key.
So where does this leave us? Is Cancun still safe? Are these isolated incidents, or are we talking about a much bigger problem here?
That's the question every traveler has to ask themselves.
Hmm.
It's not about saying any one place is totally safe or totally unsafe. It's about being aware, being informed, making educated choices.
Exactly. And I think, for me at least, this deep dive wasn't about saying, don't go to Cancun. It's about prompting us all to dig a little deeper, you know?
Think beyond the glossy brochures and the Instagram filters.
Because paradise, sadly, doesn't exist in a vacuum.